Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. I am Drew Garrison in the locker room with Chad Penrod for our NFL Draft Special. And an announcement that I think that we would also like to make here early on is that Thursday night, we will be live commentating the first round of the draft.
We're going live.
Live, baby. So what we're going to do is we are going to set up me, Chad, and Austin, who is in here with us from time to time.
And maybe some guests as well.
Maybe some special guests coming in, and we are going to watch the first round. And the idea is maybe you pull us up on your iPad, your cell phone, whatever. You watch the draft on TV, but instead of listening to those losers on there, you listen to us.
Call me Trey Wingo.
Yeah, I'll be Kuiper. I got good hair.
I was thinking you were Booger McFarland.
Oh, that's fucked up, man.
I'm just playing, man. Hey, but you usually are the one to do this, but let me do this real quick, man. Breaking news.
Big breaking news.
As we sat down in the locker room, our phones exploded. The New England Patriots have traded the rights plus a 7th-round pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Rob Gronkowski.
How does that not surprise me?
So to say that again, it's Rob Gronkowski and a 7th-round pick going to the Bucs, and the Patriots are getting a 4th-round pick. And to say that I'm surprised, I'm not.
No.
I mean, I didn't think Rob was still young and still one of the best tight ends in the league. And, man, what does that say maybe about Belichick?
I don't think him and Bill got along. He's like a wild partier, goofy,
You're
and
right.
Belichick's all business.
Because if you remember talks a few years ago, there was talks that he was trying to trade Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, to Detroit, I think.
To Detroit, and
he said, I'll retire.
And he said he'd retire. And it seems like maybe Gronkowski won that Super Bowl, and you thought, okay, maybe he was done. You know, he was a lot of surgeries, getting hit in the legs or whatnot there.
Concussions,
but
elbow.
Do you know what this does to the Bucs, man? I mean, we're talking
God.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, now Rob Gronkowski added to that. I mean, Brady has some weapons, and he had no weapons last year.
And Schefter actually just tweeted Tampa Bay was actually the only place that Gronk wanted to go. He wasn't going to come out of retirement to go play for the Packers or something.
It's Tom Brady.
It's Brady.
It's Tom Brady.
We said this right before we started recording. I think it might be true. I think Brady was like, hey, dude, you and Bill don't get along, whatever. I'm cutting out after this season. So before Gronk retired, before the start of this past season, I think Brady might have been like, dude, take a year off. Do, whatever you want to do. Stay in shape, get ready, and I'm heading out next year and come with me wherever I go. I think that might have been it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. Somebody mentioned this, man, and it just made so much sense to me and how many views and the numbers that it would do when it comes time. Like, I know you guys are seeing this on ESPN, the MJ 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah, The Last Dance.
The Last Dance with the Bulls. And you're seeing a lot of behind the scenes going on there.
Yeah.
How Michael wasn't very happy with, some of the front office at the time, at least in the episode 1. I'm going to be interested as hell to see in a few years if we get something like that with the Patriots where, Tom Brady just comes out and says what the hell went on, and Rob Gronkowski comes out and talks his piece. And
we deserve that.
Man,
I want that.
That right there would do numbers, because you want to talk about some must-watch TV. That right there would be insane. But nonetheless, man, Rob Gronkowski is back. They say that he's been putting on weight because, Rob got small there for a little bit. So I'm sure he's quarantining and pumping the weights and going to get back to his normal self. And, man, Tom Brady has probably his most favorite weapon back.
And per Rob Gronkowski's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, he texted ESPN and said, pending the physical, Rob has agreed to play for Tampa this season. He will honor his current contract at this time. So he's going to get the same money that he
1
was
year,
making.
$10 million is what I seen.
Yeah, he's going to get his money back too, unless they, have to work something out with him. I'm sure he's willing to lose a couple bucks to get back with Brady. But if they have the cap space and all that, he got a year off.
I was under the impression he signed with WWE.
He did.
It must have been just a WrestleMania thing, or I don't know.
Yeah, or if there was, if it was a long-term thing, there's maybe if I decide to play football again, I can get out of my contract deal or something. I don't know too much of the details on that, but man, Godwin, Evans, Gronk.
Imagine if somehow, and I know you're a Michigan fan, but you can, you can say this guy's good. Imagine if somehow their first pick they get J.K. Dobbins.
Oh God, that's the perfect piece that they need.
I think that's their.
I'm high on Dobbins.
Yeah, I think they're missing a running back. I think that's one thing the Bucks are missing.
I think they've been a little bit linked to Fournette too.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's on the trade market apparently.
Yeah,
couple
that's
good
true
options
too.
there.
Yeah, and you can always get these running backs in the draft, and you get them on their rookie contracts, and we've all talked about that before. It's it's hard to pay a rookie running back after his 4 years are up, but
yeah, the Bengals are dealing with that right now, actually.
So let's jump into this, man. We are 2 days away from the 2020 NFL Draft, where your Bengals they've been on the clock. We got some news a little bit earlier. I text you and Austin immediately, and one of our other friends.
I don't think
Troy.
anybody else caught this.
No one else caught it because nothing was said. But Joe Burrow slipped up. It sounded like saying that he's already in contract talks with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Not surprising.
No, I mean I think we all know now. Joe Burrow is the pick.
Let's go.
I don't think not even the 3 picks from Miami would be enough. It sounds like your Bengals are getting their guy. And
as I've said before, there was the possibility of 3-4 first rounders coming back from Miami, with their 3 this year and maybe a 1 next year. Couldn't have been too mad if it happened, but man, I read an article and it really brought a lot back to me, man, when Mike Brown didn't do a trade and it screwed the Bengals for a decade or more. When they drafted Akili Smith, Mike Ditka and the New Orleans Saints called Mike Brown and offered them literally their entire draft that year, plus a first the following year.
Yeah.
Because they wanted Ricky Williams so bad. They ended up getting him some other way, but man, we took Akili Smith and his career went up in flames and cocaine and dark liquor.
So we are, as we've said at the beginning of the show and you guys have seen on our Facebooks, we are going live for the NFL Draft. We're going to start that up about 7:45 Thursday. And we're going to do a little draft coverage on it, of every pick, all 32 picks. And like we just said, the Bengals have that first pick. And we know it's going to be Joe Burrow now. We're 99.9% sure after what Burrow said that the pick is going to be Joe Burrow. And we've been doing our own, with us going live, needing to talk about these players. We've been doing a lot of research on these players, but everybody already knows the stats on Joe Burrow. Over 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, and won the national championship. I have the guy as the 4th best overall player. Now, people are going to say, yes, it's the quarterback. You take the quarterback first, but you do that differently when you're in a draft and you just rate the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
How athletic they are, how fast or whatnot. And I have Joe Burrow as the 4th best player. I have him as my number 1 quarterback. And I think that is the only pick for the Bengals. So that right there to me, I give the Bengals an A+ when they select Joe Burrow. But we have talked. People always ask us, what's your take on Burrow? What's the pros? What's the cons? I mean, the pros are last season. I just read you the stats: 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, and a national championship. By far the best quarterback in college. The one knock, and we've said this before, the one knock is that he's done it for 1 year. Okay, he doesn't have another year backing him up. Now, listen, this guy was recruited to Ohio State, transferred to LSU, and just did what he did. We know the guy is talented. We do know that. The one knock is he's done it for 1 year, even if that's a knock. You don't even have to take that as a knock because he could come in and light up. It wouldn't surprise me if he came in and lit it up because, listen, the Bengals are not a bad football team right now. They have revamped that defense, and he has weapons. He has Joe Mixon. He has A.J. Green. He has Tyler Boyd. He has John Ross, if he can stay on the field, who
I'll have John Ross for like 3 games.
Good. He played good at the beginning of last season before he got hurt. Bengals fans, get excited because Joe Burrow is bringing it, and he's coming to Cincinnati.
I've set aside about $300. I've budgeted for this. And I don't know why they're not on NFLshop.com yet.
You could already had this jersey from China, man.
Man, I don't want that virus. I'm going to buy real ones, too. A black Burrow jersey, a white Burrow jersey, and an orange Burrow jersey as soon as NFL Shop lets me. I don't know why they haven't posted them yet, but I'm ready to go. Hey, Andy, thanks for everything, man. I defended you far too long. But it is time.
Hey, that's again, the question's still out there on him. What is going on with him? You can't keep him around.
He's going to get cut.
You can't keep him around.
He would have to take a huge pay cut to stay as the backup, first off.
Yeah.
And second, I don't feel like he really did that much with Finley. I know he was pretty pissed off when he got benched, and I guess rightfully so because of the timing and the way it was handled. But I don't think he was too in on helping Ryan Finley last year. It's one thing to go get a veteran backup on the market, maybe somebody that's still out there to come back him up. But it's one thing to take the guy that started for you for 9 years and say, okay, we'll sit here on the bench now and we're going to bring in, this new guy and you help him out. I just don't think that's going to work.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't. That's not even a relationship I would want to cross.
He may get traded Thursday.
When this is over and Burrow comes into wherever the Bengals operate at, and he has his presser, with the owner, with the coach. Andy Dalton shouldn't even have a shoe in that building.
It might be a fucking Zoom conference that they broadcast with how this is going.
Yeah, but when he gets in the building, I don't even want Andy Dalton messaging him, telling him congratulations, I'm here to help any way I can.
Yeah, I think they know now that there's not a trade partner. I just don't see a team that's going to give up anything for him. I think that they're keeping him until after the draft because they don't want to show their hand all too much, even though everybody knows. But there's
the first pick.
There's this unwritten rule in the NFL where they don't want you really tipping your hand on your pick until draft day.
I just don't think that the value was there that they thought that he was worth.
No,
the Bengals are known for this. They overvalue some players.
Yeah, and they kind of fucked up though. First off, they should have tried to trade him before the deadline last year.
That's exactly what should have happened. Because you're probably talking a second, third round pick.
I don't even know if it would be that high. I just don't know who would. Maybe Chicago last year.
Somebody
trying to make
somebody
a
in
push.
the hunt who a quarterback can help, and his contract is pretty cheap. I think a lot of teams pull the trigger right there.
But coming into the offseason, the Bengals were just in a bad position because how many off seasons are there quarterbacks available like this where you got a Cam Newton, a Jameis, a Brady, a Rivers? There's just a plethora of guys that you don't really see on the open market.
That's true, but I think the second Andy Dalton's release will be the second Andy Dalton signs as well.
Yeah. I just think now that the Bengals have no leverage, everybody says, "Well, you're going to have to cut him anyway." So
too close to the draft. Why?
Why
and they're not.
they
They can't trade him before the season, or they can't pay him before the season starts. That would be just stupid.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I struggle to find a fit for him. I think that Cam's a better option for the Chargers if they go that way. Maybe New England, maybe Belichick's waiting for him to get cut and then try to get him on the cheap. Maybe he believes in Stidham. I don't know. I just don't see that. I don't see a starting job for him right now.
Yeah. No,
Jacksonville's been linked to him maybe to back up Minshew, but that's kind of the same case scenario, after you kind of seen what he did with Finley, and we don't know how he acted towards Finley. Nothing's ever came out that he was bad nothing
towards
official.
him.
But it definitely,
you definitely don't get the vibe that he was there to help because he was there to play. So we know we're 99.9% sure that Joe Burrow is going to be a Bengal, and next on the clock would be the Washington Redskins, in my opinion, unless there's trade. Now, Shefty came out and said that there has been some trade talk here.
I think there's going to be a lot of trades.
They said that the phones have been open in Washington, and they're keeping all options available, but if they keep the pick, that's Chase Young. I don't see any
Slam
other.
dunk.
The best player in the draft.
Even after trading for Kyle Allen, though, man, there's a lot of Tua whispers. I guess I can't completely rule it out. Dan Snyder's fucking crazy.
If I'm the Redskins and I'm not completely in love with Chase Young, and I can almost guarantee 30 other teams are in love with Chase Young.
I think 32 teams are in love with Chase Young.
But say they're not. A trade back's not that bad for them there if they can get some picks, just because there are a lot of holes in Washington.
Yeah, and their belief in Haskins, I think, is flimsy at best. I think, we had reported, not reported, but just seen that, some people in the building thought that he may be dyslexic because he was that bad at reading a playbook.
Right.
Which is crazy because he was Urban Meyer called him the best quarterback to ever play at Ohio State. That it can get tricky there. I think most of the intrigue will probably start at 3. I have seen, like I said, that Washington may look at Tua. I just don't know confidently that they go that way. I think most of the intrigue you'll see will start at 3 because Detroit's got a lot of options.
Right. So, we kind of go back to before we leave the Bengals here. A question was said, and we want to give our answer to it. It says, will the number 1 pick, Joe Burrow, help his team at all this year? So will Joe Burrow help his team at all?
Yes. What's
the expectation for the team after getting their franchise quarterback? So as a Bengals fan, what do you expect? If Joe Burrow's the guy, so okay, Joe Burrow is the guy. What do you expect season 1? And what is your expectations for him as the starting quarterback?
I think that there's going to be growing pains, especially if the offensive line isn't addressed in the draft and, maybe they hit on a second, third, fourth round guy that they find for the O-line that can maybe come into play. I think there's going to be growing pains. I think that you're going to see a lot of flashes of things to be excited about. I think that as a Bengals fan, this is going to be a more exciting season just because of the fact that it's not
shiny
Andy.
Toy.
Yeah, you got that new toy. I got a new car a couple weeks ago, and for a week, all I wanted to do was drive my new car.
Right.
So you get the new thing. I've kind of made all my predictions when we've talked about the Bengals, assuming that Burrow comes in because I've just felt all along that was just the no-brainer pick. I still say, 6, 7, 8 games is pretty realistic with the improvements to the defense.
The thing with me is that these guys, when they come in as rookies, they almost seem, and I would love to see the numbers of, within the last 10, 15 years, it's almost like their first year is better than their second year.
It can be.
Because they don't have the film on you yet. I mean, take, for instance, Baker Mayfield, Robert Griffin III. Those are just the 2 guys that instantly pop in my mind. I think Burrow, I don't think he's going to throw the touchdown passes like Baker did.
I'm not sure you're going to break
There's a Cincinnati-Cleveland rivalry that, and a lot of Bengals fans have said they think he might break it.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go, but I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the breaking records like that don't happen often. These records aren't broken every year.
But
I think
I hope he does. But
I think he could have a good. Like I said, we mentioned the weapons. Will AJ Green stay healthy? That's key. Will AJ Green stay healthy?
Will Joe Mixon be there?
Yeah. Will Joe Mixon be there, or will he hold out?
We can hit on that in a second because I saw something interesting about that from the new CBA. I think he definitely helps them. It's hard to not help a 2-14 team, though. It's hard to be that bad twice. Right. What was the Browns' record after 0-16? They still managed to win a handful of games, right?
Right.
So it's hard to not improve upon such a bad season. So I definitely think they help. I just don't. The touchdown record, I'm all for it. I hope to God he does it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see it. I see 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. I look back at the year that they did draft Dalton, though, and everybody said that they were going to be a 2-win team. They won 9 games and snuck into the playoffs. So there's definitely chances there, but I definitely think that he will help. My expectations for him are a good season, not a great season. I think he's just kind of going to learn the ropes a little bit, and there's going to be bumps in the road. There always are. But he is translating into a system that is pretty similar. And I was reading up earlier, Zach Taylor has been privately quoted, so somebody that knows somebody heard something, so take that with what you may. But he's willing to be open with Burrow to bring some plays that he ran at LSU and some things that he's comfortable with and kind of incorporate that into what the Bengals are going to run. So I think that is actually something that's really cool. And if that is true, which I think it is, because you see that a lot in the NFL now, coaches are a little bit more willing to be like, okay, what do you like to run? Where are you comfortable? What sets do you like?
Yeah.
So I think that if he does that, that'll help him tremendously. There is a pretty good transition to the offense, that gun, spread them out, kind of make it move thing. I think a lot of that was what Taylor was trying to go for last year. And I think Burrow is going to fit that better than Dalton because it doesn't get talked about, but Burrow's more than capable as a runner, as a quarterback. Not just scrambling, but actually, taking an RPO here and there.
And with that that's the thing, though. With that offensive line right now, he's going to have to be. If you want to, like I said, if you want to look at his team at LSU, I mean, they were loaded
everywhere,
and he had a great line. He was rarely getting hit. And then, like you said, when he had to use his feet, he can use his feet.
I'm not so sure that the line was as good as everybody says it was because I watched, man, it's from the moment.
They're not any worse than where he's going.
No, but from the moment that I watched him play Bama and do what he did against Bama, I watched every game that he played because I was just stuck. He scrambled an awful lot. Things broke down an awful lot, and that's one of the reasons I like him so much because he's so good off script. It's not going to be any. Yeah, his line in college isn't any worse than what he's walking into. But I don't. That's an argument that I've heard a lot. The weapons, the receivers, the tight end, the running back. I totally get it. He had it all. I'm not sure the line was as great as people are making it out to be. I think a lot of those guys may have gotten those awards just off of being LSU. But I mean, it's not going to be.
They had a pretty damn good team, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. He's responsible for a lot of it. But, I mean, from the running backs to the receivers, when we've been going over these receivers for this draft coming up and just researching, dude, he was fucking loaded, dude.
Oh, yeah, he had them everywhere. And he's, that's great to have. He's going to have good weapons in Cincinnati. But one thing, my rebuttal to that when people tell me that he's not going to be any good because he just had a lot of players, man, I've watched highlights and film and games and watched them live and just, man, the receivers aren't putting the ball where they're putting it. They're going up and getting it, but they're not putting the ball in the perfect place that I've seen him do so many times. So I think there's some give and take there. I think that you can chalk a good amount of it up to having, a great team around him. But a lot of those things, man, if you really sit down and break it down and watch how he extends plays and moves in the pocket and finds his reads and keeps his eyes downfield when he's about to get hit and puts a ball in a perfect place for his guy to go get, I think it's hard to ignore that too. So
we know he can ball. I mean, we absolutely know he can ball. I don't think anybody would say that he can't. But like as with every player, you got to throw in the what ifs or what had happened if. Like I said, when you get to Cincinnati, hopefully the line's better than it is now.
God, I hope.
And the one thing and you'll hear a lot of quarterbacks say after their first year is, what was so different? And they say the speed of the game. These cornerbacks, these safeties, these linebackers, these linemen, these big 300-pound linemen are coming at you to rip your fucking face off, dude.
Yeah, but and it's a different speed when you get to the NFL. One thing that I think will benefit him is he was playing in the SEC, which is widely regarded as the most pro-ready conference there is. There's a lot of good D-line talent coming out of the SEC this year, but at the end of the day, you take the best defense in the SEC, there's probably only 3 or 4 of those guys that become NFL starters. It's just the way it works.
Right. You take all those players and you put them on one team.
Everybody's everybody's that fast. So it's definitely going to be a transition. I think he benefits more so than if he was like a Pac-12 guy or something. But he seems ready for it. And there's a lot more that I'll get into on him when, the pick is announced. I've kind of done my studies on him a lot, obviously because of being a Bengals fan, but there's more we can hit on there. But I do think that he absolutely helps. I think he absolutely – it's just 2-14, man. If he's any worse than that, we're in big trouble.
So the next question that we were asked to cover was, how is this draft going to go? You know, is it going to be exciting?
Glitchy.
Obviously glitchy, but are we going to have a lot of trades? Are we not going to have any trades? Like, how do we think that this draft is going to go?
Well, I was actually because there was a tweet that came out from Schefter that when they did their mock draft yesterday, like all the NFL teams did a mock draft to get a feel for it. I guess there was an issue with the Bengals' first pick and it was delayed. Come to find out, it wasn't the Bengals' fault. I thought it was Mike Brown.
Well, they said after the first 15 minutes, it went smooth.
Yeah, I thought for sure maybe Mike Brown was on that like dial-up AOL internet he has and couldn't figure it out. But luckily, Duke Tobin's going to handle it.
So here's what I think.
They simulated a lot of trades to see how the system would handle trades, which I think is good.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I think that I wouldn't say we're going to have a ton of trades, but I wouldn't say that we're not going to have any trades. With there being so many quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks are going in the first round.
Oh, absolutely.
I obviously Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, and Jordan Love. And maybe will somebody hop up there and take a Jake Fromm or a Jalen Hurts there at the end of the first? Ugh. I think 4 is going to go, so I think that's going to be a lot of trades. So say that those quarterbacks, there's a good run on them at the beginning because you would think that's where there's going to be a run at them at the beginning. Then you're getting into those players that your position players,
right?
Like now everybody's wanting to trade up because now it don't cost as much to get up and get them
because not everybody's looking for that franchise.
So now you didn't have to go from say 15 to 2. Now you can go to 15 to 9 and possibly get that guy you wanted the whole time and not give up next round's first.
And not only that, it's such a deep draft in quarterback and receiver and linebacker and secondary, like you were saying earlier when we were talking.
Offensive line is fucking, dude. It's been a long time since I've seen an offensive line group this deep.
I think that is going to lead to more trading because there's a team, okay, we've made our first pick. We're getting here. Now we're toward the end of the first round. Oh, shit. Is that guy going to be there tomorrow when we start the second round, or do I just get aggressive and go get him now? There's so much talent that there's going to be a good amount of first-round talent fall to the second round.
Yeah, and that's with your Bengals, So,
right.
They're going to get the quarterback. Now, say there's the receiver there they want. Now, like we said, the run of the quarterbacks are there, and now you got all these O-linemen going. And you want to, and everyone's sliding back. The Bengals shouldn't stay at 33. If there's an offensive lineman they want there that is, say, at like 25 or 26, or there's a receiver, we've seen a lot of T. Higgins.
Being compared to A.J. Green.
Right. So moving up, back up in the first round is always good because you get that 5th year option. You get that extra year on that player's contract. So that's why you see teams on the back end or early second trying to move up into the back end of the first so they can get that extra year option on the player.
I would love the Bengals to jump back up into the first round, but not for a receiver.
A lineman makes sense.
Offensive line or linebacker, the two biggest needs that we've touched on. You've got like a Patrick Queen that may slide down there to the.
He's been linked to Baltimore, man. And I hate
that sucks because I really like him. I was reading up on him a lot.
And I seen something about Patrick Queen there that, he came out and exploded this year, and I'm like, well, if he was that good, why is it 1 year? This dude was sitting behind Devin White, so
yeah.
I mean, it's just it's crazy. And there's another a guy that I've told you, and I just rave about him is I don't know how to say his last name, but Grant Delpit.
Delpit, yeah.
So Grant Delpit, also a secondary in LSU, and I mean you just hear us talking about these LSU players. Back to where we said this team was loaded. Was sitting behind Jamal Adams and Tyrann Mathieu and then has just an excellent year. I mean, it's just another guy.
That's a guy that before the Bengals picked up Von Bell, I would have loved him at 33.
Yeah. So
I would also just when we're talking the trade up thing too, another guy that I really like that I've heard nothing but good things about is Kenneth Murray. I think he's going to fit kind of what the Bengals need him to do. He's kind of an off-the-ball, run-and-hit kind of guy.
I did a lot of research about Kenneth Murray today, and those of you that watch college football know Oklahoma's defense was bad. Especially the last 2 years, and he was a bright spot on a bad defense.
His perimeter play and everything, it's something the Bengals have lacked for a very long time. That's a guy that if they throw, they move up a little bit, I'm completely okay with. So him, I could name probably 3 or 4 offensive linemen that I think may be there at the end.
So what do you think? Are we going to see a lot of trades, no trades?
I think we'll see more trades than normal. The Bengals, though, man, historically do not trade up in the draft, but historically they don't spend a bunch of money in free agency either. So maybe things have changed. I'm still a little bit skeptical on that. Even if they stay pat at 33, though, I think they're going to have a lot of good options. Having that extra day, that night to review everything and not be they'll be on the clock again for another 20 some hours. I wouldn't mind them to trade up. Definitely, if there's a guy they like that they think they can solidify that line or linebacking core. But I don't expect them to. But they could surprise me.
So outside of the trades and being surprised by the trades, the question was also asked, or I'm sorry, a statement was said actually on Twitter that said, with a lot of these picks, people are going to be shocked. So be ready for the surprises of, hey, they weren't linked to him, because everyone's not talking as much this year with the virus and all that going on.
No pro days.
No pro days. So there's no face to face, and you don't you can't see if someone's bluffing or not. But they're saying that there's a lot of players that teams are linked to that they haven't even talked to, and they're saying like a team that, for instance, Jordan Love has been linked to the Saints.
That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah. So and
that makes a lot of sense, though.
And so then it brought up the question, and it made me wonder. So I said, why? Why they have Drew Brees there and they have Taysom Hill?
Dude, he's not a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. But they've came out and said we think he is.
Right.
So I got to researching about it, and they said that the number one quarterback, the year, that Watson and Mahomes and them were taking, Sean Payton had on his board was Pat Mahomes. So
can you imagine him with that offense?
So they're saying they're calling Jordan Love a poor man's Pat Mahomes.
I'd seen that.
His comparison is Pat Mahomes. A poor, obviously, it's going to be hard to be Pat Mahomes.
There's only one of those.
Right. So they're saying if Jordan Love is there, the Saints are going to jump on him.
I can see that because they put that high tender on him and all that. I cannot see how they could believe in him as a quarterback.
Yeah, and another thing, that it made me think too. Okay, well, the high tender, but if you believe that much in him, why would you pay Teddy Bridgewater so much money? I mean, the dude,
exactly.
Dude was making killer money for a backup.
Yeah, he turned down a starting job for a comparable pay to come back
right
to New Orleans. He's a gimmick guy. He's cool. He can return. He can play tight end and all that. But there's no quarterback film on him. There's no snaps for me to watch to make me believe that he can be a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but that's why the hype is there. You see Lamar Jackson, you put the system, you fill the system in around Lamar Jackson, and then you got this. And I get it. I
take Love. I take Love with Mike Thomas and would they get Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah.
I'd take Love before I took Taysom Hill, but I'm just not a Taysom Hill guy.
Yeah, I think that Love is raw.
Very. But what did we say about Mahomes?
Listen, I think Burrow's going to be really good. I think Herbert's going to be good. I think Tua's going to be good. I think Love might say he ends up with the Saints and he gets Sean Payton. Ooh. After so many years of learning and getting the rawness away and getting to the football player, could be one of the better quarterbacks in this draft.
I think Love's going to be better than Tua.
So, so we have that, and we'll hit on that more. Like we said, Thursday we're going live 7:45 on the draft, and you're going to be able to watch us. You're going to be able to hear us. We're going to have everything hooked up. Hopefully it goes smooth. If we're not right in at 7:45, give us a minute. We're new to this. We've never done it before. Just thought it'd be something cool to do. We're all going to be together. I mean,
it's going to be live draft commentary. Please still watch the draft on your TV if you want. Just mute those losers and pull us up on your iPad and listen to us.
With social distancing, you'll see us live. We'll be all together. We won't be separate computers. We'll all be at the same table. So we did want to transition over to a team that could come that it could end up having the best draft.
They could turn their whole franchise around.
Turn their whole franchise around. The Miami Dolphins have 3 first-round picks. They've given up Minkah Fitzpatrick, and they gave up some other good players to acquire these first-round picks because they're in a rebuild. And you guys have heard me, and actually you've heard Drew say it now too. We are believers in Brian Flores. We think that if there's a guy that's going to turn around, especially from a coaching standpoint of how things are ran there in Miami, it's definitely going to be Brian Flores. With that first pick, they have pick 5. I just think if Herbert or Tua's there, one of them's going to be gone. Maybe you have one more there. I think you got to draft him. I just think you're not going anywhere with Ryan Fitzpatrick. You haven't been in on any of these other.
No, Rosen's not it.
Yeah, Rosen's not it. You haven't been in on any of these free agents. I just believe that if you're going to go with a quarterback, Tua or Herbert's got to be the guy. They got to be locked in on him.
Well, let's go to a real live Dolphins fan. You want to bring a guest in?
We have a guest. It's our hairless friend,
the hairless wonder, Eric Durr. Eric, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Durr, what's up, buddy?
What up, Ted?
Dolphins super fan.
Hey, are you excited for Thursday or what, buddy?
What's up?
Are you excited for Thursday?
Well, I'm scared and excited at the same time.
Preach.
That's fair.
Tell us why.
Well, I mean, honestly, just like, the Browns, the Bengals, your guys' teams, you love them so much. And this draft, we dumped everybody to get all these draft picks and all this draft capital to put together a good team. We did some good moves in the offseason, but man, if they make the wrong decision or put too many chips in one pile, I'm concerned. But I think they'll do okay. Fingers crossed.
3 picks.
I think it could go one of two ways. They're either going to blow it up completely and miss on it all, or it's going to hit. They're going to hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I agree with what I've been reading, that we really are the trigger piece of this whole draft just because of all the picks we have.
You're like the Browns every year.
Yeah, the Browns the last 2 years before. We got 3 in the first and 2 in the second. So
at 5, where do you want them to go? What direction are you at?
He loves Tua.
I do not. Stop saying that. They just say he's special, and he's high on draft boards, and he is what he is. If he's healthy, he could be. The Drew Brees, and that's every Dolphin fan has heard since they passed on Brees, because of the shoulder injury. And the rest is history. They passed on him. They took Jake Long, and then the rest is. No, that was Matt Ryan that year, not Jake Long. And the rest is it. Drew Brees is the top 3 quarterbacks of all time.
So are you in on Tua? Are you in on Herbert? Because if you don't get up to 1, Joe Burrow's not going to be there.
If I'm Chris Greer, if I'm the GM of the Miami Dolphins and I got to pick what I want to do, I'm going to not take a quarterback at 5.
Okay.
I'm going to take Isaiah Simmons if he's there from Clemson.
Keep your hands off of him. He's dropping to 10.
No, he's not.
That dude is an animal.
Hey.
I think that Tua and I think Herbert will go. The Dolphins will probably I hope they just stay at 5, man. I hope they don't trade one of the other 2 first-round picks just to move up with Detroit or New York, just to move up to get Tua or Herbert. That to me just pisses me off.
So are you rocking with Rosen, and are you rocking with Fitzpatrick for another
Fitzmagic?
No,
year?
I mean Fitzmagic. He's a
Cam?
baller, man. He screwed up us having that number 1 pick.
What about
we
Cam
dumped
Newton?
Everybody to be shitty.
What about Cam Newton?
You know what? That wouldn't be a bad option. I think Jameson Winston would actually be a better pickup. He's young. He had eye surgery. Maybe drop off some of the picks that he did last year.
Hey, he throws for a lot of damn yards.
He got his eyes fixed just to watch his team sign Brady.
I know. Did you see about Gronk?
Yeah, dude, we just talked about that.
That just happened. I'm like, Jesus Christ. They're loaded. Tampa Bay is loaded.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Gronk. How you going to guard them all?
You can't.
Oh, shit.
You got O.J. Howard in there. There's a double tight end.
They still have Cameron Brate, too.
Yeah, Brady was a good TE also, man.
He played the slot a little bit.
Yeah, they're pretty dangerous down there.
So you want Isaiah Simmons at 4.
At 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, at 5. So Do you like Jordan Love in the with a later pick?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I'd like to take him at 18 or 26, or if they got to do a little finagling to move up a couple picks there to get him, I like Jordan Love later.
I like your thought process because, hey, I've been looking at some comparisons, and we've been doing a research because we're going to go live this Thursday, and Jordan Love is being compared as a poor man's Pat Mahomes.
And I don't think that it's going to take a lot to get him. I don't think people are going to move up to get him.
Yeah, I think on the only way that you're moving up for Jordan Love is if Herbert, Tua, and Burrow are just gone in the top 5.
Which is quite possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chargers could move up. Jacksonville could move up. Maybe they're not sold on Minshew. You know, they're right there on the cusp of the top 3. They could just give a little bit to move in and grab one of them quarterbacks. That's what they want to do.
What if you don't say they don't clear the house? Say because the Giants are linked to Isaiah Simmons. They're linked to Tristan Wirfs.
I've also seen them taking Beckham too.
Yeah, well, Becton got flagged negative at the combine, so he failed a test.
That don't matter. He's a bad dude. He's a bad big man. That don't matter.
That's
364 of pure badass.
That's true, but look how you guys got Tunsil. He fell after him when the gas mask came out.
That's true. Yeah, that was pretty big.
That was fucking hilarious.
19.
Yeah,
we got him at like 19. It was crazy.
So say you're at 5. Say Simmons is gone. Say the Giants took Simmons a pick ahead of you. What if 2 is there then?
All right, Simmons is gone. I would not. I just don't want Tua. I don't want a quarterback that high. They just don't ever work out.
Would you give all 3-round picks for Burrow?
I would take one of them OTs. I'd take Wirfs or Beckham or Thomas from Georgia.
Yeah. I really like Andrew Thomas from Georgia. He gave up 1 sack last year and no more quarterback hits either. 1 sack was it.
Those are more solid. To me, top 5 quarterbacks are hit or miss. They're honestly, I didn't do the research, but they're about 50% of who actually sticks around and does well in the NFL. I mean, they're just not as solid as an O-lineman, which is probably the safest bet out of any position.
How much do you like Herbert?
I haven't seen enough tape on him and what I've seen him in college. I mean, I've watched the highlights. He's the frame's there. He's built like a quarterback. He's got the arm strength. I saw how the Dolphins during his senior day made him throw a ball on his knee from the end zone. He threw it to like the 50, so he's got like that Josh Allen arm strength kind of deal a little bit. I think he'd be solid. If they take him at 5, if they take 2 at 5, I got to roll with it and be happy with it. But if I was the GM, I wouldn't do it.
Real quick, I was doing a bunch of research on these quarterbacks today, and then these are the notes I wrote down for Herbert. Pocket presence, great. Arm strength, great. Accuracy, good. And he can run. He reminded me of a Ryan Tannehill, but better, but with an arm like Carson Palmer when he first came out.
I like it. I like the comparisons. I don't like listening about Tannehill. That was the worst thing ever to see him just be a piece of shit for years and then take the Titans to the playoffs last year.
He's got Derrick Henry there.
And he got bank. They paid him.
Yeah, he got
big
paid.
Good offensive line, good defense too.
Hey, I personally think 5 years down the line, Herbert's better than Tua.
He's 6'6" as well, and that's definitely a plus.
I don't know, man. I hope they pick correctly. You never know. But I mean, if you can get somebody like Jordan Love or what's his name? Why my mind's
don't say Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
dude, he sucks. He fucking sucks.
He's going to go to like New England and be phenomenal.
I think he ends up in Pittsburgh.
You think?
Yeah,
he sucks.
I think he ends up in Pittsburgh in the second round. I think that they've seen how bad it was without Ben.
Man, under the right system, he could be a good quarterback. See,
he got benched in the national championship game because he couldn't throw when Saban needed him to.
Let's see what happens to Brady with all those weapons down there in Tampa Bay. Because my gut feeling is, I'll give Brady all the credit in the world. He's got ice in his veins when it comes to where he has to make a play. But in the big moments. But all those years, I think many, many talented quarterbacks could have been in that position with Belichick and done just as well. That's my hard feeling about my Michigan, New England quarterback who I love. Right?
I would say through the season, yes, but he couldn't get anywhere without Brady. I just felt like Brady was the GOAT when it came crunch time. It was on Brady's shoulders.
He was winning rings with nobodies too, man. Throwing to nobodies.
Well, Gronk was always a safety blanket.
Well, he's back.
Yeah, he got his safety blanket back.
They said he's putting on weight, saying that he's doing nothing but working out. Said he's big already, so that's going to be interesting.
All that working out with the WWE or whatever the hell he was doing.
Yeah, I got a cousin down in Florida, man. He's a big partier down there in Tampa. I told Kurt I want to see footage of him and Gronk pounding Bud Light Platinums within the next 2 weeks.
I like it.
All right,
honestly, that's what I want for the draft. I'd like him to get a quarterback in the first round, an offensive tackle, and then a stud defensive player if he's there. Maybe a safety. I've looked at Terrell from Clemson. I think we're pretty loaded up on corners. We got like two of the best in the league.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you give Minka back for one of those late firsts?
Oh, that was the one I was upset about.
Yeah, he balled for Pittsburgh.
He landed to us. And we had to take him. We weren't even looking. I mean, we had Rashad Jones. That's why it didn't work out. There was no place for him to really go with the people we already had. And that's where it kind of got shady with him of where he was playing in the time plan. No, I couldn't believe he fell. We were able to get him in the draft. He's the one I wouldn't have let go.
Yeah, I mean, at first I laughed at Pittsburgh until Minka started doing what he can do. So
he's such a talent. And the thing is he's still on his rookie contract. You know what I mean? Tunzel's going to have to be paid. Houston's going to pay Tunzel a shit ton of money here next year.
Yep.
And that's one thing we avoided by trading him. We got a lot of picks for that. 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s, I think is what it was.
Right. Yeah. So I think Becton with that that test coming back negative. He might be around there for one of your later picks too.
I'd like him to move up. I like him my ideal draft would be this, is to take Simmons at 5 if he's there, just saying, trade up some other picks to move up a little bit at 18 to move up a few spots to get Becton at whatever, 15. If he drops to 18, fine. And with that 26 pick, take Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And then the 7th pick of the second round, either take one of the running backs, Swift, Dobbins, Taylor, one of those guys.
Hey, man, you know me. I hate Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins is being slept on. He's going to be a monster.
I think so. And I'll give you some love on your Wolverines. I think and the Dolphins have been looking at him pretty hardcore. That Ruiz is going to be pretty awesome.
I'm hoping he's there for Cincinnati at 33, man.
No.
He can play guard. He can play center. I like Cesar Ruiz.
Hey, let's talk JK.
Ruiz, is that how you pronounce it? Ruiz?
Yeah, Cesar Ruiz.
Hey, let's talk JK Dobbins real quick, man. I've looked at so many mock drafts and these guys that are grading these running backs. Can you guys believe that they have DeAndre Swift, the running back out of Georgia, ranked higher than J.K. Dobbins?
That is incorrect. That's not how it's going to play out.
I don't see how you can have Taylor at 3rd. He has to have some argument to be the number 1.
Exactly what I was going to say. Taylor's second behind J.K., then
those
Swift.
3, yep. I think if you get any one of those 3, you're getting a hell of a back for the price.
Absolutely, especially if you can pick him up in the second round. But picking him up and trading up in the end of the first, if you want to get that extra year on the 5th-year option, wouldn't hurt either. Because now you see the Bengals, they got Mixon in the second because he punched that chick in the face, and now he's maybe holding out because he's on a $1.2 million rookie deal that he's not happy with. So if you can get that 5th year out of him too, that might even be even better.
I like that they put Swift higher. That means somebody else will fucking grab him up, and you can get one of the other 2 in the second round. Right. I bet he goes in the first.
I mean, I'll laugh at the team if they take Swift over a J.K. Dobbins though. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, they're studs. That's for sure.
All right, Dur. Hey, bud. When this stupid virus is over, man, we're gonna go up to Frickers, drink a beer, and watch some sports.
We're gonna do it real soon. I can't wait, brother. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Dur. Have a go, man.
Yeah, go Fins. I'll see you.
Bye. Actually, I should have asked him before he hung up. I never got his take on Frickers versus Roosters. Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm going to hang out with him again if he says Roosters.
I've only hung out with him at Frickers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so it don't matter, as long as there's beer there, and we know the beer is super cheap at Frickers. So.
Well, we've talked about the Bengals. We had our guest on to talk about the Dolphins. Let's get to your boys. What's going on with the Cleveland Browns, man? Are they moving? Are they staying? Who they got their eye on? What's going on with them?
So they had Mary Kay on the NFL Network. and she continues to say don't rule out a trade for Trent Williams. What she said exactly was that the Browns have 2 or 3 guys in mind, and if they're not there, so here's my thinking on it. Here let me just say, put it out there what I think she's talking about. So say the Browns want Isaiah Simmons, say he's there, or they're a player like that, and they fall to the Browns at 10, and the Browns pick them at 10. Well, they didn't get the left tackle. So then I'm thinking it's maybe a second or a third round pick for Trent Williams, because Washington's made it clear Trent Williams getting traded, and Trent Williams don't want to be there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely
it seems like the Browns are in the driver's seat on that. So I'd think if those guys aren't there and the Browns can't get one of those guys that they want, and I really think they want Simmons, and I really want Simmons, Dirk, keep your hands off of him, then I think that it's either going to be Wirfs, the tackle out of Iowa, or the second guy that I want after Simmons is Andrew Thomas, tackle from Georgia.
I am actually on the Trent Williams front. Austin brought this to my attention, and I looked it up just to fact check it, even though I know Austin gives us good information. I'm now out on Trent Williams.
Why?
He hasn't played a full season since 2013.
Yeah, but if you put Trent Williams in this draft right now, there would be so many of those top teams that would jump on him if he was the pick.
He's only played 16 games twice in his career.
Yeah, well,
he hasn't played a full season in 7 years.
He's got cancer, and his last team didn't inform him, and
that's
all kinds of dumb shit like that. But listen, when he's on the field, this dude is a Pro Bowl top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top 3 left tackle. But you're right, though. I mean, that is there. But so if you're not going to do that, and then and to me, unless Isaiah Simmons falls at 10, then you got to take the tackle. And I'm going to say this, and I know there's some Browns fans that listen to this. If an offensive tackle is the pick, the Browns are probably going to get the second one. There's a chance that Tristan Wirfs, he's been linked to the Giants at 4. They really like him, big, strong dude. But if Tristan Wirfs isn't there, look for Andrew Thomas. But also the Giants have been linked to Isaiah Simmons. So the Browns might get first dibs on the offensive tackle that they want. And we've talked about this as well. There's only one hole on the Browns offense that we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Obviously, we say it's on Baker. Everything's there. We know the weapons are there. We know, obviously, they're from the running backs and the tight ends to the receivers. They just got Jack Conklin. We got J.C. Treader. We got Joel Bitonio. So everything is there except for left tackle offensively. But the defense is where the holes are at, man. I want them to go Isaiah Simmons somehow and then Grant Delpit.
Oh, God.
So
stay away from Grant
That's
Delpit.
what I want. But, like I said, it's not sexy. If the offensive tackle's the pick, I'm okay with that too.
And it's never a sexy pick. It's never a fun pick. It's never an exciting pick. But last year when the Bengals took Jordan Williams, I was happy as shit. Because, I mean, obviously he got hurt.
Got to protect him.
On Wirfs, I say stay away from Wirfs. In my research on Wirfs that I did today, I think he might be a better guard than tackle.
6'5", 322 pounds, a punisher, possibly the best lineman in the draft. I have Wirfs and I have Andrew Thomas, 1A and 1B.
I have Wirfs. I'll get you a little insight on what I was going to say when he got picked on Thursday. Then in my notes, my comparison to him, Billy Price, bust alert.
No way,
dude.
There's no way he's too damn strong.
He struggles against like the counter move on the inside. From what I've seen, I feel like he's very aggressive. He could be a mauler. I don't know. He kind of like oversets himself.
Did you grade Andrew Thomas yet?
I actually hadn't got to Thomas yet, but
Did you hear what I told Durr?
Yeah.
1A,
1B?
No. Andrew Thomas last year for Georgia in the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Gave up 1 sack and no more quarterback hits.
Yeah, he's clearly
to me, Andrew Thomas is the best left tackle.
Yeah, I don't have that on
Wirfs
paper.
Is there too.
I don't have that on paper, but I've thought that throughout. That Thomas is the best. I just don't think Wirfs is too. I got Jedrick Wills over him actually.
And then Durr made a good point there too with Becton. But Becton's probably going to slide a little bit now.
I think he will too, just with the test. Even though, but I mean, will he though? Because now you don't get suspended for a marijuana.
That's true too. And then
test.
Becton, 6'7", 370 pounds.
Jesus,
moves for a big man, but like I said, failed that test.
I wonder now with the new rules that they test positive for marijuana, nothing happens to him now. So I wonder if that is going to affect him and make him slide, or if teams are just like, well,
that's a good point.
You can
That's a
smoke
good point
weed,
with the new CBA.
But then you still have to worry about, is he going to get caught with weed? Is he going to get in legal trouble?
Right.
Because it's legal, I guess, to have it in your system by NFL standards, but you still can't ride around with a bunch of weed. I guess you can get a card, in certain states or whatever. I don't know how all that works. But there are concerns there. I just don't know, like, is it as big a concern now? Because it's like, well, I mean, he wouldn't get suspended in the league for it, so who cares?
Yeah. That's a good point. But, yeah, so that's where I'm at there, man. So if somehow Isaiah Simmons slips, I definitely want him. But if not, I'll take the unsexy pick, and I'll take a left tackle and be happy.
I would rather you take a left tackle that I have to worry about for the next 10 years than to have fucking Isaiah Simmons that I got to worry about for the next 10 years.
What was the thing you told me?
I was looking him up today, dude, and I was floored by this because I knew he moved around, but he took over 200 snaps at linebacker, and this is just last year.
Yeah.
Over 200 snaps at linebacker, over 200 snaps at slot corner, and over 100 snaps at free safety.
I have him.
What the fuck?
So how do you have your top 5 players in the draft?
I actually haven't really sat down and put them out yet. Excuse me.
So I got Chase Young at 1. I got Isaiah Simmons at 2, and then I got Derek Brown at 3. I have Joe Burrow at 4, and I have Jeff Okudah at 5.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I'm still going through my
somehow the
evaluation.
Browns can get to me the second best player in the draft, that would be a home run.
Oh, I could actually absolutely see him right there. I've been going through watching film, looking at stats,
4.340,
trying to get a good feel for some of these guys that I don't have a huge opinion on yet, just because I haven't seen a lot of them. So by Thursday, I'll have all of that stuff ranked out. That'll probably be most of my day tomorrow, so I don't have that. But man, I would rather be like, okay, how's Carl Lawson going to get around Andrew Thomas?
Yeah.
Other than who the fuck's going to stop Isaiah Simmons?
Where the hell's that dude lined
playing
up at?
3 different positions? And from everything I've seen on that guy, man, he could do all 3 positions as a pro. I don't see anything that says that was just a college thing.
Yeah, so
I was trying to find somebody to compare him to, and I don't like. I don't know, just because I don't know if I've seen a linebacker prospect like this.
Yeah, so and then you asked me too, and so originally I was in the same boat as you. I was like, this guy is just different. This guy is just that much of a freak, man, and we haven't seen a guy like him. But when it started to hit me, I was like, this dude might be a faster Brian Urlacher.
And way better in coverage.
Yeah, I mean, he's special, man. If the Browns can land him, dude, I'm gonna jump through hoops.
There's 3 teams he can't go to. It's Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
So
maybe the Bengals trade up for. Hey, fuck me up, Cincinnati. Draft Joe Burrow, move back up into like 4. I don't give a fuck what you got to get up and get me Isaiah Simmons.
One or the other there, dude. Because there ain't no chance in hell. Ain't no way you're getting from 33 to top 5 again.
I might.
You might have to give up 6 first-round picks.
If there's any talk of that, you guys better tune into this live stream because I'm going to do something fucking wild on it. If they somehow, let's say Simmons fell something, they trade up to 9, stealing from Cleveland.
No way he's
oh God, dude, I'd love it so much.
So there it is, guys. So just please tune in on Thursday, draft night, 7:45. We're gonna be live. We're gonna have we'll probably be drinking some alcoholic adult beverages.
Oh shit, White Claw Thursday.
We're gonna be probably eating some pizza. We're all gonna be dressed up in our favorite team gear, I'm sure. And we're gonna be live. You're gonna be able to see us. You're gonna be able to hear us. And this isn't gonna be a normal podcast where we record it and then we post it. I mean, we're gonna be live. So all the
comment
fuck ups, comment. Oh, and I would love for you guys to comment. More importantly, I would love for you guys to call in. Call in after your team picks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our phones will be on. You can say, hey, I'm about to call in. We'll get you online. And give us that in the moment experience of, did my team just fuck up, or do I love what my team just did? Because I know there's going to be a lot of Bengals fans happy. We know them, so if you're a team of someone other than the Bengals, call in. Even if you're a Bengals fan, call in and chat it up with Drew. I'm sure he's going to be happy as soon as it's official, that Joe Burrow is a Bengal. But just can't express it enough. That's going to be Thursday, NFL Draft Day at 7:45. Make sure you guys are ready by your computers, tablets, phone. Be ready to tune in.
Yeah, that's my thing, too. Pull us up on a different device. You can still have your phone, have your TV on, but just, listen to us. I just think it'll be a fun way. You guys can interact and, share it with your friends if you want. And you just brought that up. We're going to be wearing our team gear. Do I wear a Bengals jersey? Or do I wear my...
you don't have a Burrow jersey.
Do I wear my...
You failed.
Do I wear my Smokin' Joe shirt? I got Burrow smoking the stogie. I want to get a real jersey. I don't want to buy a Chinese fake one for this one. I want to get real jerseys, so I've had to wait.
If you guys are wondering, we're going to do the thing. We're going to give you probably grades right then and there. You're going to catch us live in the moment of these surprises they're talked about. Our jaw's going to drop. I've been going through this whole list. I'm going to give you a player comparison to where I think that person is, and you might. There's some of them you might be like, wow, so. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it goes smooth. I hope it's fun. And mainly I hope you guys tune in with us and just take that day. We haven't had sports in a while. Just take that night, join it with us, grab some beer, turn on the TV, turn on the phone, and just tune in and just listen and just watch the draft with us.
And if you're somebody that listens to us and you don't hear us talk about your team a lot, this will be a good way for us to give insight on all 32 teams and everybody that makes a pick, and see maybe what some of these teams without a first rounder are going to do. So we'll get you guys all the links everywhere you need to be. And get it all out there as soon as, things are up and rolling. And like I said, man, we just hope you guys have fun. So I think that's about it for us today. Tune in Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in to us today, and we will be ready for the draft. Locker Room Talk Uncut.